Hello peeps and welcome to another episode of Through the Glass Table. As always, I'm Ismael.
And I'm Everett.
And today, as you can see, we have this fabulous person in the middle of us, one of my best friends named Horacio Ortiz, and kind of a comic book nerd, and kind of our residential comic book nerd. And today is a very special episode because we get to talk about one of his favorite characters, Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange, played by Benedict Cumberbatch Kid, tells the story of a man named Stephen Strange who has to deal with a bunch of morose dealings after he breaks his arms in a car crash. There is a love interest named Rachel McAdams, blah 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 blah, and she is just really there for show and tits. This is true. She has no point. Whatever, let's get back to the story. He learns magic because he can't do hospital things anymore, and in the end he finds himself in magic and a time crystal and the Infinity Stone and blah 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 blah. Infinity Wars, this is the end. When we have a guest, we usually like for the guests to start off by saying their overall opinions of the movie or their overall, just, what did you think?
Overall, I think it's just another Marvel movie that caught my attention. He's one of my favorite superheroes. So overall, I give it an average of a B.
Okay. A little early for ratings, but I like it. It gets right out to the start. One of the things you said that really just caught my attention right now is this is another Marvel movie. Like, how can we not, like, talk about that right now? And just, like, it really did feel like they were trying to do something with the same old formula that they got going, but in the end, it ended up being the same formula.
It's like catharsis, like, because it wasn't terrible, but just, I know every one of these movies is something different, and they do try to do something different, but it's like the spirit of the movies are all the same, and for this one, I was just sitting there, and I was just like, okay. And I don't know anymore if I'm giving these movies a pass just because they're Marvel movies, and I expect a certain level of quality, but they never exceed that level of quality. And it's becoming boring to me.
What I didn't like about it was that it looked like they were trying to do something new with kind of like not really focusing on the story, but more of the visual aspects of it, and like kind of like heighten that.
Can we all agree that the visuals was amazing? I think.
Well, the visuals was amazing, but you put makeup on a pig, it's still a fucking pig. You know what I'm saying?
Because now everything looks amazing, even in shitty movies. But it was the way that they used it. Like a lot of that '60s psychedelic stuff. I really enjoyed seeing that. Because you haven't seen that in movies in a long time, and it looked like a Steve Ditko drawing.
The visuals in the beginning when they were fighting in the cities and within the sanctums was amazing. But the visuals within the dark dimension totally threw me off.
Yeah. What I didn't like was that why keep all these elements still if you're trying to tell like a heroic story, but trying to focus just on the visuals. Like they didn't do a complete.
It was confused. It was like it was pulled in two directions of being conventional and then also trying to break the mold. And when you pull from both ends, you just end up in the middle. And I think that's what we kind of all three of us feel. It was kind of middle of the road.
Personally, I was enjoying the film all the way through, and once it hit the end, that was my biggest disappointment into the whole film.
Oh, what you mean is like he's supposed to be like this omnipotent being with so much power and so much like he's the evil baddie, but he gets stopped by a time loop.
A time loop, and he's like, I'm annoyed of you.
This is true. Like, well, but then again, it's also like different dimensions. So you have this kind of, you don't want to stray too far, but there's other dimensions.
First of all, you don't want to say.
I think they did that on purpose because they know people are tired of just seeing big fights at the end. I personally thought it was a creative way, and it woke me up from the boredom that I was feeling. So, like, to me, one of the strong points of this movie was the acting. I thought all of the characters were pretty well written, except for one, which we'll probably talk about. But I thought everyone was pretty good, especially Benedict Cumberbatch and Tilda Swinton. I thought Tilda Swinton was very pleasant. I was expecting her to be like weird because she's always doing weird roles, but she was actually like warm, which was surprising to me.
Yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch did a really amazing job. Like, that's one of the reasons why I kind of enjoyed the film throughout the whole thing, was like he's very good at picking up cues and following people and like delivering emphasis and humor.
One of the things about this character that I'm glad that they committed to is they actually made him unlikable. Because usually when you have a character that's unlikable, screenwriters get scared and they make them unlikable, but then also likable, like Chris Pratt in Magnificent Seven. And here there was some moments where I was like, you're a fucking asshole.
That's what we're saying in the movie.
Yeah, like when he's in the penthouse and he tells her, she says, you have something to live for. He's like, well, like you.
Oh.
Like, oh my god.
I was like, dang. Jesus. I think you guys hit the two of my favorite characters. Both were just amazing. The ancient one, she played, Tilda played it perfectly.
The person I did not like, and I'm gonna say it with so much gusto, and like, I did not enjoy Christine Palmer's character played by Rachel McAdams because one, it's Rachel McAdams and you only have her for like 10 minutes in the fucking movie. So what the fuck's wrong with you, Hollywood? Two, like, her role in the movie to play this like loose love interest, but yet this kind of like peg or solid connection that Doctor Strange is supposed to have into our realm. But again, there's no character development, so you don't get to know her.
I somewhat disagree with you in that point. I liked her as a character. I thought she was better love interest than the rest of the films that previously, like Iron Man's love interest. What's her name?
Pepper
Potts, or Thor's love interest. I feel like she actually was a better love interest than the rest of the films.
Because to me, that character worked. And the only things that didn't work is why are you trying to force it that they have a relationship? I think that was unnecessary. You can have just a off-the-cusp, quirky character that helps him out in the real world. It don't gotta be his bitch. You know, like, it didn't bother me as much as what's her face, Black Swan in Thor, because I feel like she was whatever her name is. I feel like she is completely unnecessary. Here, at least the character was necessary, but I do agree that there was no reason for her to have
a love
relationship.
So that's my question to you guys. Do you guys want to continue this love interest in all of superhero movies?
No. To me, the function of these women in these movies, to me, is a case of the not case.
We had this very good conversation, like me and Everett, over the phone about like it didn't even need to be Rachel McAdams as a lover. She could have been like, you know, a friend or like it could have been a mother figure. It doesn't fit right to whatever his backstory, origin story is. But most of these characters can have something like that. Or she just could have been the night nurse.
Yeah.
Like that all Marvel movies and comic books have. Like these, there's like 4 main night nurses. And she could have just been one of them. She is one of them. And like,
well, maybe that's why they got an A-list star and they just needed forcefully.
But the problem here is why make her a love interest? Like, why do women always have to be the love interest in these movies? They could just be friends.
Because if not, he would be Dr. Queer.
Dr. Queer. What about Mordor, played by the guy's name I can't pronounce it?
Chiwetel Ejifor.
Chiwetel?
Chiwetel Ejifor.
Chiwetel Ejifor.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm even saying it right.
I personally did not care for him so much. I think he did good. Not too much to say about him. But I did not. They changed the story on how he hated the Ancient One. So that was pretty interesting, a new twist to the film.
I just don't have any connection to Doctor Strange, so I don't know how these characters are supposed to be, and I don't know how these people played them well. I thought Chiwetel Ejifor was pretty standard.
You know who was phoning it in? That Mad Mikkelsen guy. Played
I was very disappointed.
Caecilius?
Yeah, I was very disappointed by him because he's actually a pretty good actor, and he's going to be in Rogue One, so I hope he does better than that. But
what were you disappointed in that?
Maybe it's not even him, it's the character. I don't feel like he was a threat at all in the movie.
A crybaby much more.
He was just sort of over there, and then oh look, I'm here in the third act now.
Yeah, he seemed like a bridge to get to Dormammu.
What about Wong? His character?
Wong, I can't escape. he is... I know him. I think he was the same guy, because I might be racist and think it's but I think he's the same guy that was in the episode of IT Crowd, which I really, really enjoyed.
Oh yeah, the underground club.
Yeah, I think that was him.
That is him, I think.
And
I didn't even think about that.
I always pictured him in my mind like that. When I saw him, I was like, hey, that's him. So that's me being biased. But yeah, there was this kind of, because Wong becomes Doctor Strange's like second in command. Yeah. Like Wong is his second in command. I could see them building that relationship in the library and then playing tricks on each other and stuff. Who directed this?
Scott Derrickson.
Okay. What else did he do?
He did such classic movies as Sinister.
With Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, and Sinister 2.
He did Sinister 2?
Yeah, I think so.
He went back for the second crap?
And The Day the Earth Stood Still, the remake with Keanu Reeves.
Reeves.
Whatever.
I actually like that movie, so fuck you. Okay, that's all.
He's just... I was pleasantly... Because I didn't know anything about him until I just looked him up after I saw Doctor Strange, and all his movies are so terrible. And this was actually like a well-directed... It wasn't anything spectacular. I'm not going to give him that much credit, but it did what it needed to do, and he did a good job.
I'm a big fan of just regular 2D movies, so I'm not totally convinced that 3D is the new future and stuff, but I have to say it was a pleasant movie to watch because every shot that the 3D was meant for was stunning. Like all the folding of the buildings, the magic intertwining. Nothing actually came at me though. Like I was expecting like things to fly out the screen and kind of, but you know, it wasn't meant for that.
I feel like the pace of the film was good. The director did well on that. Just the end where the whole Dormammu and Dark Dimension, I just felt like he was just rushing to end the film really quick. That's that part.
Yeah, that does seem rushed at the very end.
I just wish like these movies would just go a little bit deeper, you know? Like it feels like all that stuff is surface level. And as I'm thinking about it, I don't even know if I like the movie now. Because it's just like, you know, like I would like to know more about what was his inner workings as a character, like what does he suffer? What would make him want to go and learn magic? And all these things, it just seems like, I just as I'm watching the movie, I just see bullet points, like a list of stuff that screenwriters wrote out.
So we already know Horacio because he gave it a B right off the bat. So Everett, overall, what would you score the movie?
You know, like I don't know how many more times I'm gonna give these movies a pass because it's starting to become stale. I'd probably give it a 4 out of 5.
I find it interesting that you hated the movie, it seemed, and you still gave it a 4.
I didn't hate it. It's just becoming stale. I can't explain the feeling when I sit down and watch these movies now, and I just don't think.
I'm so shocked. Like the presidential stories.
I don't know how long you can keep going with just being great, you know, and I'm bored.
I'm gonna have to give it a 3 out of 5. Like it's not, you know, a terrible like movie. I had a better experience because I saw it in 3D, and that's saying something because I don't really recommend 3D movies to anyone that I know. But so I thank you for that.
You're welcome.
But yeah, like there's a lot of like little things that went wrong or that just bugged me. That this could have been a really great movie if they stuck with what they wanted to do. But they're being unsure and saying, oh, you know, we have to have these other elements in there. Kind of just ruined it. But hopefully now that kind of Doctor Strange's origins has been established, we can get a better character and we can like finally know who Doctor Strange really is. Well, I want to thank you guys for joining us on this special episode of Through the Glass Table, and I want to thank Horacio again for, you know, coming here, and it's always a pleasure to have you on.
No, thank you guys.
And
You're welcome.
look at him. Okay.
He hates life. It's hard.
He hates life.
It's not. I'm just.
Anyways,
It's a terrible day.
bye guys.